you know. And so we lost Cain this week. Uh, Herman Cain dies because he wants to spit in the face of COVID. He's 74 years old. He's done a lot of good in his life, but one bad thing he did was sign up with this beast, and now he's dead. Waste, total waste.
You, you wonder like what was in his thinking. I have a 70, have some seniors in my family, and they've taken this COVID 19 seriously. I mean, literally, like you don't live in my house, you're not coming to my house. We could talk on the phone, we could FaceTime, you could ride by my house, I'll roll the window. I mean, pull the window up, and I'll talk to you from there. But we're not interacting like that until this is over with. And guess what? We all respect it. We know we drop by, we drop stuff off to them, but you're not coming inside. They're not coming outside either. Like, they come in, they get their mask on, they go where they go, and that's it. This guy is 74 years old, and you think this is a joke. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, well, you have these people every week, these families that get together, and then 3 weeks later, they're oh, I'm sorry, I should have listened. You know what? One thing about life, life doesn't give us a rewind. It doesn't give us a do over. Shit happens in real time. Real consequences happen down the line. But we get to do what we do right then and there. You know how many millions of people say to themselves, I should have wore a condom that day, I should have pulled out that day? We don't get to redo it. It happens. It's real life, and that's how it is. But you know
And
what? I treat this shit deadly serious, man. I wear a mask everywhere I go.
Yeah, well, let me I had to take a COVID test the other day because anytime you go to the hospital, you have to take the test. That's that's one hell of a test, man. If you ever had the flu swab, this is like not that. I was like, God damn, it felt like the lady was touching my brain.
Well, me
mm,
personally, I went to the doctor. What was it? And I wasn't happy at all. Monday, when I went to get this blood test done about 8 weeks ago, they did it curbside. Now they had me come upstairs, and I wasn't happy to go upstairs because it was a room full of people.
Yep.
We all had on masks, and the seating had changed. That was positive. But I had three more appointments set up, and I moved them all back. I mean, into October because we had a rash here. We broke a record. The next day, Tuesday, we broke a record, something like 1,200 brand new cases in a day. And I was like, you know what? This is bullshit, man. I'm not going back. And they asked me, have you had a COVID test? And I was like, no, I didn't. I figured my doctor was been like, okay, we're putting you on the list. But they didn't do it. So, I mean, and actually, they do that curbside here also. The COVID tests are done curbside. You drive up in your car, and I guess somebody shoves that shit into your head, and you move on. But I have not felt anything. I have not felt an ache, a pain, a cough, anything that they say is close to those symptoms.
Yeah. They just checked to see if I went to the hospital for a different reason. They give you the test though because it's mandatory if you enter in to the hospital in the emergency room. So it's just like I guess they just trying to protect the nurses too because I think if you do come up positive, they put you on a COVID floor.
Okay, you know what, that makes sense. I have no problem. I think the more I'm not like Trump. The more testing, the better, man. This bullshit about more tests, more positive. That just means somebody was positive that just wasn't tested. So
That's
you
why
know,
he's just trying to keep his numbers down. So if we test less, there won't be that many positives. Duh. That don't mean you don't have the virus. That just means you didn't get tested for it.
right? Okay, you got a dumbass kid at home, and if you never give him tests, you never know that he only can score 30 on the math test. So
Yeah.
his rationale for things are really stupid. I
You
mean,
remember back in the day when people said Bush was dumb? Bush is like a scholar compared to this guy.
oh no, this guy is on steroids. He's stupid on steroids. I mean, this is a 74-year-old man, I believe, who said earlier this week, nobody likes me. I mean, like a 4-year-old, nobody likes. who the fuck cares? I am one of those people. I never understood that philosophy anyway. I
Did,
don't give a rat's ass who likes me. How are you stopping me if you dislike me? That's what I'm more concerned about. Not that you
he,
dislike me.
I think he's obsessed with his popularity. I was reading something the other day that the whole thing with the first pitch of the Yankees came from him being jealous of Fauci throwing out the first pitch.
Yes,
Oh,
I definitely talked about that earlier. Because the
Crazy.
Yankees. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's insane.
Yeah, the Yankees said that they were completely blindsided. We never invited him. He invited himself. And
mm.
trust me, the Yankees don't want nothing to do with him. New York don't want nothing to do with him. You know what I mean? He's non grata. He is literally non grata. Now, I gotta speak about this brother just briefly. Uh, you know what? Like I said before, what are you willing to gamble on something that you're not completely sure about or you shouldn't be doing? Why would Kanye put himself in a position this week to almost do voters fraud by having fake signatures on a ballot? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Nobody can grab a little bit of control over there. That shit don't make sense, man. You don't do federal fraud, man. I mean, I looked at some of the signatures, and I was like, damn, when did he become the most popular black man with Hispanics in the country? Because almost everybody on that list was Hispanic, and they all spell, they all dot their I's exactly the same, which I found weird, and I think that they was like, what is this bullshit? Kanye needs to, you know what, he could use that money to build those domes, and if that's going to do good for somebody and provide housing, then do that, bro. Stay out of the presidential race. You just muddling the waters.
He gonna do
Not that
something.
anybody's gonna vote for him,
It's gonna be some idiots that's gonna vote for him.
but it's not gonna be many. I mean, if he gets 2 million votes, I think that's a lot. I think that's a lot. I don't think there's more than 2 million total fucking idiots that's gonna vote for him. You know, I really don't.
That was just, 2 million in Pennsylvania could still fuck the election up for everybody.
No, I ain't saying 2 million in any state. I am talking
No.
2 million countrywide. 2 million total fucking fools. People who gonna do it as a joke. Oh, I went drunk. I clicked on Kanye. Yeah. And then they're gonna post this shit on Twitter. That's all. Not 2 million in any state. There's no state in the union that he can get 2 million votes from. I mean, goddamn, the dude. I mean, come on, man. This is still Kanye. He ain't the most beloved dude there is. This ain't fucking Beyonce. Beyonce can get 2 million in Houston or 2 million in Texas. And I have not seen her video album. Have either of you?
I watched like the first maybe 15 minutes.
No, I didn't see it.
It's good visuals, but it's not my cup of tea. But
Yeah, I heard one of the songs, and I was like, "What the fuck is this nonsense?" I'm not getting caught up in it, and I'm tired of her with devil horns and shit like that. I mean, when is that gonna stop with her and Jay? When is that going to stop? But if that's their thing, that's their thing. But every time I turn around, she's always got some kind of fucking devil horns on, and it gets boring after a while. You know what? Some people like to play into that cult of Hollywood thing, and she seems to like to play into it a lot. You know, but you got people, man, who some people should be quiet. This Michael Porter Jr. I hope he has parents, and I hope that they pull him to the side and say, "Baby, you know what? Be careful what you say." He says that the coronavirus is a conspiracy to population control. That's all it's about, population control. And I'm going to myself, where did he get this from?
yeah, I heard other people say that when the death numbers was insane, but I'm like, dude, some people just, what I say, they find things on YouTube and they just run with it.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I
somebody like they'll tie that into Bill Gates and his wife and some other people with how then they'll go dive into their family history. I forgot that term that they use for people who like population control. And then like Net said, people go on YouTube and then they'll just, oh, this person said this and that. But did you research what he said? Nobody researches anything. So it's basically like we could just come out with a blog and we could just start, even at this show, we could just start talking, quoting crazy shit. And then be like, oh, they said this on the show. They said that. Yeah. But nobody researches it. You just say it.
Yeah, they had a video of
it's
this nurse. She's supposed to be an RN, and people was posting. And I'm like, dude, why are y'all? First of all, why are you sending this to me? How do we know, one, she's a nurse? Two, it's millions of RNs out there. So you just telling me this one RN is the know-it-all of everyone? I was like, get this bullshit out of here.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? I do my due diligence on everything. Working around lawyers for so long, that's a big, huge word. And you learn that and you apply it to your regular, everyday existence. So before I say anything, I make sure I read 4 or 5 different things to actually back up what I say. No, I'm going to have my personal opinion. But if I'm supposed to be stating some form of facts, I got to hear this fact from several places before I actually say it. Because once this leaves my mouth, goes through this microphone, and gets online, I can't pull it back. I could try to delete it, but this shit right here, when we talking right now, is already feeding out lies to people. Because I make it that business that people can listen in without me even knowing. So it's not like I do any editing. So I have to kind of be right about some things. I mean, there's some things that's going to always be opinion based, but there's going to be a lot of things that are just, you got to use facts, you got to use numbers. I like math, and the thing about math is not math. There's no guessing. It's a formula that you follow that will give you the proper answer. There's no two answers to the same question. There's one proper answer. This is not like you read a book and 4 people can interpret it 4 different ways. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's the formula that we use. Some idiot could say it's 3.5, but he's going to be wrong every fucking time. You know, he's going to be wrong every single solitary time.
yeah,
But
that thing was called eugenics.
but people
Eugenics
love
is the. Go ahead.
no eugenics. Okay, you live and you learn. It's a good thing. That's another thing I learned during the COVID. I want to learn several new things per day. Per day, I study incessantly. I spend a lot of time reading, man. I mean, I gotta say, I read at least 3 hours a day, at least. So because I'm not bogged down with television, between my meditation and fucking reading, man, my mind is somewhere else at least 4 hours a day, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know where I'm going to get this time when this is over, but I'm going to try to make time. If they say if something is important enough to you, you'll make time for it, right?
Absolutely.
It's only the things that's not important you make excuses not to show up for. But Michael Porter Jr., man, to say stuff like that, and you got impressionable kids who look up to you, and they'll run with it, and then they'll argue with their friends about it. See, the kids ain't got nothing to lose, but Michael Porter has a reputation to lose coming off as an idiot. Population. Who wants? There are so many ways to do population control that we didn't need a COVID. We didn't need to put people that's in the position of power in jeopardy. They don't have to be in jeopardy. They've tested shit on black people, man, since we've been here. Since we
And I'm
have been
assuming he
here.
means world population, not the United States population.
No, no, no. He was just talking about eliminating people from the planet. not for the betterment of the planet, not that it would help with global warming or help financial. It's just somebody came up with this grand idea. You know, this world in the last century and a half has the fail safe way of population control. It never fails, and it has happened at least 5 times. It's called world wars. You want population control? World War II killed 100 million people. You talking population control? World War II, 350 million people. Civil War in America, 100 and something thousand people. And this is not including little Mexican American wars, Spanish American war, Middle Eastern wars. That's population control. World wars, which they could ramp up any fucking time they want. That's real population control. Not to say that this is not a number that's going to stagger the world. 684,000 deaths. What kind of population control is that? I mean, he doesn't even have the numbers to back him. I
It's not
mean,
even New York City.
684,000 is a lot, but that's not enough to do damage. I mean, we got almost 400 million people in America alone, and 684,000 died in just America. That still wouldn't do enough to our population. Now, one thing I would like, man, and I'm very disappointed at this guy. I'm not going to call him a brother. He's a black man. The St. Louis County prosecuting attorney. His name is Wesleybell. So he's not going to charge Darren Wilson in the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson. So
Yeah,
that
he should
leaves
just left
me.
that alone. If you wasn't gonna charge him, you should just not. Should just left it alone.
See, but my thing is
So,
this, man. He took all my faith for Breonna Taylor. What the fuck is going to happen with Breonna in this situation? This is the same guy, man. Same dude is running both shows.
yeah,
You
I
ever?
always felt like they that the Brianna one wasn't. They wasn't gonna charge those officers.
I mean, this guy, and you know what? The dude Wesley Bell did something very slick too. He got in the office, right? He had a nice little afro, but because of all this black stuff that's going on, and it happens to be Missouri, where you already have Michael Brown, now you got Breonna Taylor. All of a sudden, he knotted up his afro. So when he's on TV, he's perceived as this down brother, but he has done nothing, absolutely nothing. Listen, I didn't like the way the Michael Brown thing went down, and I'm not liking how long it is. It should not take this long for this Breonna Taylor situation. Either these guys were negligent, they were uh, they were something, and then don't overcharge. Bone said this shit weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago. Don't charge police with first degree murder. You will never convict them of first degree murder. You got to go as high up as you can without hitting the intent. Because who says that you left home with the intent to murder that day?
Absolutely. Yep.
And that's one of the hardest ones to prove. I mean, first degree murder, man, you need to have like duct tape and rope in your fucking trunk of your car.
Yep. But the officer that did do the shooting through the closed curtain, definitely, because any like he could you shooting blindly, and they still on it. I think that one was still on the job.
Yeah, this is insane. And see, that's a part of the powder keg. It's not just the rash of arrest of certain officers. It's what happens when the prosecution doesn't go the right way. Because I think that passive American, the one that let shit roll off his back and just went, oh man, that was a bad decision, and he just goes about his work. Now there'll be retaliation for every time something screws up. And that's the society we live in, especially when we don't have anybody from the White House who could say, you know what, can we have calmer heads prevail? No, this guy, he adds fuels to each fire. He sees a small fire, he wants a bonfire because he makes it black and white. You know, he makes it black and white. And this country has a lot of sensitivity to black and white because it ain't always been good for black. It ain't never been good for black. You know, his whole slogan, "Make America Great Again," is an insult to me. It ain't never been great for me. It ain't never been great for my grandparents.
No, never.
So who the fucking 400 and some odd years has it been great for? Not us. I mean, I could get into personal stories, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, how it affected, you know, even colorism affect how people being married was illegal in this country. Minute bullshit, like two people can't even fucking love each other. So, you know,